What's up, guys? We're almost done with BB25. Now it's time to break down each and every single player, those that got evicted and those still playing in the game at the midway point of the season. So let's dive into it. First up, we got Luke. And what is there to say about Luke? He is not a good player. He got expelled on day 8 for violating the code of conduct. I mean, dude, you got a 6% chance at winning $500,000, and you're going to do something that stupid on live TV? Come on, man. Luke goes into that last spot. Next up is Kirsten, and she kind of played too hard too fast. She had her hand in a lot of cookie jars and got busted. That's the reality of the situation, and she didn't really have much of a chance of winning. Next up is Riley, and I think Riley is someone that fans enjoyed watching. But she played an honest game. She was loyal to her handful alliance, and she wasn't afraid to voice her opinion, which ultimately cost her a shot at winning, and Heisem was gunning for her. Next up is Heisem, and this is a player that played way too hard, way too fast. He went on a power trip. You look at guys like Devin, Swaggy C, Cody prior seasons that get power hungry, want to make this big move, and it just blows up in their face, and their alliance turns on them. He just fits that mold. He's a great competitor, but ultimately he needed to humble himself in order to make a deep push. Next up is Red, and Red's biggest mistake was aligning with Cameron. Cameron was a huge threat, and when you align with a huge threat, you're in a good spot in the sense that that person is always going to get evicted in front of you as long as they don't win the veto. But in this case, Cameron won the veto, took himself off the block, so in order to weaken Cameron, they went after his closest ally. So that's all I gotta say about Red. Next up is Izzy, and if Izzy was able to keep her lips sealed and keep the information that she was getting to herself, she might have had a chance at staying in this game. She was in a really good spot with Suri and with Jared. She had a lot of information coming her way, but she told Corey about the 7 deadly sins, which ultimately led to her eviction. If she had just kept her lips sealed, she could have gone further in this game. Next up is Jared, and this is another player that was in a good spot. He was playing both sides of the house. He felt confident that him and his mom could get to the end. But, man, oh man, Jared, just like Izzy, failed to keep his mouth shut. Loose lips sink ships. And that's what Jared did. Also, I don't think he played well. When he was HOH. In his second HOH, Corey and Jared had a big blow-up before Izzy's eviction. He targeted Corey in America with a plan to backdoor Cameron. But Cameron at that current juncture in time was a lone wolf. Cameron at that current juncture in time was the biggest threat in the house. If he kept Cameron in the game, he could have used him as a meat shield. He could have gone further in the game. He could have progressed. But what did Jared do? He took a shot at the lone wolf Cameron and got himself evicted during the double eviction. So that's all I gotta say about Jared. Next up is Nicole. And Nicole got zinged by Zingbot because she flew under the radar. She never threw a target out there. She never won a competition. And these house guests decided to get rid of her last week. Nicole should have definitely played a much more aggressive game. But hindsight is 2020. She's out of the house, and that makes up the pre-jury. Now I'm going to talk about the 9 players currently in the house, and I'm going to rank them into 3 categories. Category 1 is players that have little to no win equity. I would be shocked if they ended up winning BB25. The next category is players that have a chance of winning, but I ultimately wouldn't bank on it. And the final category is the 3 players that I believe have the best chance of winning the game, but aren't going to necessarily be in the final 3 altogether. So in 9th place, as far as who I think has the best chance of winning this season, is Felicia. And Felicia is here because Felicia was poised to get evicted twice this season before the vote flipped at the 11th hour. She is one of the most delusional players that I've seen play this game. She isn't a great strategic player. She isn't a great social player. And aside from that HOH she won, she hasn't won anything all season long. I don't see the path of Felicia getting to the end of this game and the jury actually voting for her to win. Next up in 8th, I got Blue. And Blue, much like Felicia, don't really have a path to the end. Matt and Jag are going to take each other. Corey and America are going to take each other. If Suri and Felicia stay in the house, I'm assuming they'll be loyal to each other. If Cameron's in the game, he'll stay loyal to the fugitives. If Bowie's in the game, she's going to stay loyal to Matt and Jag. I don't know what Blue can do to progress her game and what move she can make to say, hey jury, give me $500,000. I don't see the path for Blue to get to the end, so that's why I have her in 8th place. Next up is Bowie Jane. Bowie Jane is currently HOH. She hasn't really made any enemies. She also hasn't gone on the block, but Bowie isn't doing what's in her best interest. She seems to be playing this game for Matt and Jag. And if Bowie continues on this path, she's going to get evicted somewhere within the final 5 to final 3. I honestly don't see a path for Bowie to win this thing. So I got her at 7. Next up, we got players that I think can win, but I ultimately wouldn't bank on it. And at number 6, it's Cameron. Cameron has already been evicted from the game. He is no doubt one of the best competitors Big Brother has seen. But he has played a terrible social game. People in the diary room do not respect Cameron as a player or a person. We saw it when Zingbot zinged him, and everyone with the exception of Bowie, Matt, and Jag all agreed that Cameron was a tool. He's a huge competitor, which is a big reason why people have been gunning for him, and he has the potential to get backdoored this week. If he somehow escapes, it would be impressive, but I think his time is coming to an end. Next up is America, and I believe America, if she gets to the end of this game, she will lose to Corey in a final 2. I honestly don't know who America could take to the end where the jury would respect her game enough to give her the win. I think she would have to win the final HOH and make another huge move in order to justify her as the winner of the season. Next up is Jag. Jag, much like Cameron, has been evicted, and the only reason why he's in the game is because of Matt. Matt used that power of invincibility to save Jag's game. Jag, if he goes to the end with Matt, has a very slim chance of winning. If he goes to the end with a player like Bowie or America or Felicia, I think Jag has a chance. But do I think Jag is going to do that? No. That's why Jag lands in this category. And now for the 3 players I believe have the best chance of winning BB25. Once again, this isn't the 3 players who I think will be in the final 3. One of these players is going to get knocked out, if not 2 of these players. But I would be shocked if one of these players doesn't walk away as the BB25 champion. And at number 3, I got Corey. Corey was the reason why the vote flipped on Izzy. That was the most pivotal vote of the game. He realized that Izzy, Suri, and Jared were playing everyone in the house, and he knew that he had to flip the vote. In the double eviction, he won his most critical HOH of the season and targeted Jared. The reason why I believe Corey can win is because he's a Big Brother superfan, he's a public speaker, and he clearly knows how to play this game. The reason why I think Corey will get targeted is because half of the house wants him out. Cameron wants him out, Felicia wants him out, Suri wants him out, and Blue wants him out. So he's bound to get targeted within the next couple of weeks, but if he somehow finds a way to win some competitions, and him and America can go on a competition win streak, and he gets to the end, he has just as good a shot as any player in this game, so that's why I got Corey at 3. At number 2, I got Suri. The first half of the season, Suri was running this game. It looked like she was poised. to finally break through and win a reality TV show. She did win The Traitors, but I don't watch that show, so it doesn't really count in my eyes. But Cirie was poised to actually look like she was going to take the BB25 crown. Izzy goes. Jared, her son, gets evicted. Now Cirie has kind of fallen in the shadows. If Cirie can just kind of keep a low profile, maintain her threat level, and somehow get to the final 5 and win a competition or two, and ultimately plead her case to the jury, she's going to have a great chance. Because Corey and America respect her from Survivor. Felicia obviously respects her. Cameron respects her. If she gets to the end, Cirie's got a great chance of winning this thing. Much like Paul and BB19, where if a veteran gets to the end, or a player that has experience on another TV show, and they somehow do it, it's an impressive feat and you gotta give them credit. But the player that I believe has the best chance of winning this game and this season is Matt. Although I don't believe Matt is a great strategic player, he has played an unbelievable social game. He's one of only 2 players in the game that haven't been on the block. He can make a case that he made the most pivotal move of the season when he decided to save Jag with the power of invincibility. Matt has a lot of trust from basically everyone in the house. Cirie trusts him, Felicia trusts him, Jag wants to take him to the end, Blue loves him, Corey and America have worked with him, Cameron wants to work with him. It seems like Bowie obviously feels closely connected to Matt and Jag. It feels like everybody wants to work with Matt. The only concern I have about Matt's game is if the plan to backdoor Cameron happens, and Cameron has time to campaign against Matt and Jag, and the house starts to realize what a jury threat Matt could be at the end of this thing. So, if Matt can get it together these next couple of weeks, win an HOH, get out his targets, and ultimately sits at the end of this thing with Jag, he's going to have a great chance because he saved Jag, he was loyal to Jag, and he won competitions when it mattered while playing a great social game. So that's kind of how I see the BB25 cast. Feel free to leave your comments down below. Thanks, guys.